Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Zelda's 2.0 and so had access to such makeup. Okay, I believe this is an important story beat coming in. Or is that another talk to Kaiden thing? I don't remember, because the thing's on Kaiden. Yeah, we're talking to Kaiden. I think there's another scene with him. Yep, this is totally different. You find Kaiden standing by the window in the shop, looking out at the people walking past. Has the taste of feet gone yet? How are you feeling?
Hi.
Hey Kaiden, how are you doing?
Thank you.
I'm alive and grateful for that. But this is not how I imagined things would go when I left my home weeks ago. I'm still shocked, honestly, and that a problem this simple would be this difficult to solve. You call this simple? God damn, I'd hate to see complicated for you people. That's humanity for us, for ya. We just have to move forward.
About that.
Things might look bleak now, but we're not going to fix things by sitting idly by. We can only work hard and try to change things. Thank you. I think I needed to hear that, and you are right. Kaiden returns his gaze to the outside, lightly reaching up to tap his fingers against the glass.
Spent the entirety of my life in my home in the mountains. I've read about the sky and sun, about clouds and stars. They are even more impressive in person than I could have ever imagined. The first time I saw the sky, I almost felt like it would swallow me whole. However, you humans do not seem to care for it. No one barely gives it a glance, and you all hide away in these houses with brick and glass obscuring its beauty. Why?
Well, when you see it every day, it's not that special, but there are people who like to look at the sky. Like, mostly they'll do it to play a game of what does that cloud look like, but you get it. You get used to it. Wait till you see the rain. Yeah, that's probably not a common occurrence and where he lives. It's practical. Well, the short answer is that it's practical. Shelter is needed to stay safe. The world... mashing sentences here. The shelter is needed to stay safe. The world may be beautiful, but it's not without its challenges. Like the aforementioned rain, and one of the reasons shelters exist is environmental protection. Like keeps us dry when it rains and stuff like that. It can also protect us from the cold in winter. Or in my case, it likes to boil me alive in the summer. That is true for anywhere, I suppose. I guess the novelty wears off when and this is the environment you grow up in. Perhaps you would feel the same were you to come to visit my home in the deep underground. If that's true, then the only way to experience this wonder is to travel to some place new. That an invitation?
I wonder.
Is that an invitation? You should know that if I come visit your home, I expect the grand tour. If we succeed at this mission, then I'll owe you much more than a tour of my home. Let's hope we get the chance. I'll be looking forward to it. And now we get some world building here. Let's learn about his people.
Tell me about...
Could you tell me about the Outlands?
No.
Well, first of all, we don't call them the Outland. We don't call them the Outlands, much like we don't call ourselves Outlanders. Yeah, like that would be unusual. Like it would be, it's basically like calling someone a foreigner. They wouldn't consider themselves foreigners, although that's probably a very bad example. The mountain region to the west that we call home is called Drakeheim. God damn it! Sorry, let me just. There! Enough Uber Eats! Stop trying to sell me stuff! The mountain region to the west that we call home is called Drakeheim. And home of the dragons. I like that name, not gonna lie. Drakeheim. It definitely sounds like something that would be in Norse mythology, like for those of you who know your mythology, Helheim, Muspelheim, Niflheim. I forget the other Heims. Like Asgard and Midgard are the only exceptions to the rule, I believe. I think Yggdrasil connects to like 9 worlds, if I remember the information correctly. But this is very old information. Actually, now that I mentioned that, I completely forgot to mention this at the beginning of my session. But yeah, there's also been a trailer for a new Valkyrie profile game. If anyone has seen that, it's like apparently it's getting some negative reception, and I can kind of see why. It looks very different. It looks and feels kind of different from the previous games in the series, at least those I played. And like, I played Valkyrie Profile 1 and 2. I haven't played the DS game. I don't have a DS. And this does feel like a very different beast. Like, Valkyrie Profile 1 was more action RPG, like combining side-scrollers with a sort of turn-based RPG aspect, with each of your party members mapped to a different button. And then Valkyrie Profile 2, like, enhanced the battle formula a little bit by making it a bit by adding a bit of a tactical element to it. And this seems very much more action RPG orientated. But here's the thing: I'm going to hold out my opinions until I actually until I actually can gauge the game myself. Because here's the thing, yes, it seems to be a very different beast, but different doesn't always mean bad. Like, I'll admit to enjoying the mobile game when I played it for a bit. Though granted, the reason why I ended up quitting that game was the disconnect between the lore and between the story and the gameplay. Like, eventually it felt like nothing was connected. Like, the dungeon was just there just to be there. Which kind of put me off from playing the rest. But I liked the designs. I liked where the story was going. But here's the thing with this new game. What I'm more interested in, on the whole, is how are they going to implement Einherjar? Like, Einherjar is kind of a staple of the Valkyrie Profile series. And I loved how it was done in the original game. That your Einherjar were basically your party members, and you got a ton of them, and got to see their lives and how their lives ended. I'm not giving spoilers there. The whole thing about being on Einherjar is it's kind of a prerequisite to be dead. But with Valkyrie Profile 2, I was a little disappointed. Like, I was okay with it at first, but eventually I started to notice, like, this was probably a lack of space and lack of time and stuff like that, but the backstories of the Einherjar was just relegated to text and in the end, there were a lot of similarities between them. Like, sword masters fought all the same, mages fought all the same, archers fought all the same. Like, the only real differences in animation and even in your purification and attacks, like basically the equivalent of a limit break, was in your main party members, and that's a bit disappointing because, well, number one, you can't get every Einherjar in the game, and like everyone you find, you've got a certain chance of getting one or the other. And I believe some of the chances were ridiculously low. But others were like, but it's like with Einherjar, or in that game, they were pretty much relegated to being like extra teammates in case you needed a spot filled. Like, they were kind of worth training up because you could release them and they would give you stuff upon release, and I believe that depended on their level. But to me, Valkyrie Profile 1 just felt like the definitive Valkyrie game, because the whole idea was you running around Midgard finding Einherjar to prepare for the apocalypse. For Ragnarok. Bleh. Why do I say apocalypse? It's kind of the same thing, but at the same time not. And because of that, they consisted of your characters, and you had to choose who to send and to who was the best to send and to Asgard, and to see how that, and then that would be one of the ways you had to avoid getting a bad end. Though the true end was like a mess of complicated stuff you had to do in the end. And, like, I could never do that. I could never get the true ending without some guide or something. And I'd never be able to remember anything. But with Valkyrie Profile 2, they were just like... you just had your regular party members, and I and Haryar were just replacements in case you didn't have them. Like, particularly in one point of the game. Though that did make sense considering the circumstances were very different. And I'm very interested in finding out how it would be implemented here and where you'd actually go. And what I want to find out, most is who was the main character there. Like, no, really, I want to find out who that was. Like, technically, Hild should have had a game now, but that ended up. That obviously didn't pan out because you saw Hild in the trailer. I don't think it's Selmeria because she fights very differently, although her hair is blonde. And it's definitely not Lenneth because Lenneth has blue hair. So my thought is this is either a very different Selmeria, or somehow Alicia from Valkyrie Profile 2 was reborn as Valkyrie. I don't know, something going on there. Anyway, back to the story. Yeah, Drakeheim. Let's go. I rambled enough. My people are the Ijoma, and we call your people the Dags. I like that name, the Ijoma. Like, it does kind of sound like Ojama, those little whatchamacallits from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. But I like it, Ijoma. And I do like, and I do kind of like that the term Dags in the end isn't to slur, it's just what he calls us. We are a reserved people, proud, rarely straying from the mountains we call home. I've tried to change the context again. There's no need to. The ground beneath the mountains is rich. We sometimes trade with the Dags in the plains, but only rarely does anyone other than the night walkers leave our home for the outside. Give me a second. The downside of me having a 2-liter bottle of water with me throughout the recording session. And eventually my body's just going to be like, hey, stupid, go heed the call of nature. The Dags?
What do you mean?
You call it as you call us Dags. What do you mean?
Actually,
what does that mean? Some believe it's an abbreviation of day people. Makes sense, we walk around in the day. The Ijoma are the light people, and the Humin up north are the sky people. All three are people, or humans, which makes it rather confusing to us when you Dags use human to refer to yourself. Yeah, there you go. He's not some kind of otherworldly race. He's not like an elf or a dwarf or probably as some of you were thinking, a drow, if you were thinking D&D. He is human. It's just that because it's just because his people have long lived in a different environment, and they evolved to adapt to that environment, which resulted in this. And their society got built around that. So basically, this is pretty much an ethnic character. Where was I? How can we all be human? I mean, come on. It's not that hard to imagine. How can we all be human, though, when we're different races? That is a bit of a, that is a bit of a standpoint, and that's problematic. Like, you know what I mean. This is like the racist standpoint, and like, we're so different from each other. How can they be human? And that's where problems begin.
Actually,
it's also only the Dags who believe that. Nice response. Both the Ijoma and the Himin hold record that our three people were once the same, the humans. Though that was a long time ago. Yeah, and isn't there evidence suggesting that Africa is the cradle of humanity? That the first humans actually came from Africa back when it was one continent and just spread out through that continent. You're pulling my leg, are you? You're not pulling my leg, are you? Does that mean I can glow too? I mean, technically I can. I kind of want to throw it out there just to see his response. Really? Does that mean I can learn to glow as well? What? No! His face. Just like that, a dream is crushed. The more time I spend among your people, the more I realize our two societies look at the world differently. It's unsettling. That is something that's such a clear fact to me. It's unsettling. That's something that's such a clear fact to me isn't so for so many. And he's just keeping that face. The Himin? Who are the Himin? I doubt you've ever met one, if you have. There are people living in the mountains far to the north. I wonder if they're like the equivalent of Norsemen. Just throwing out a theory. I don't I don't think you ever meet one in this game. They used to travel a lot, trading with the old Dag kingdoms. After your empire was formed, however, they retreated to their home and closed their borders. Oh boy. That probably means we did something warranting doing that. I never met one myself, but I've heard they are a free-spirited and proud people. Some even say they grew wings so they could fly among the eagles. But it's hard to tell, well, if that's true or just an exaggeration. Wow. So they may have wings, but we've met so few that we don't know. Let's talk about something else. Your markings?
I have some questions.
I'm curious about those markings of yours. I can imagine. What do you wish to know? The colors.
So...
I'm wondering about the colors. Yours seem to be blue mainly, but sometimes they shift. Is that how it works for all of you?
Actually...
well, the change happens to all of us, at least those who can't control their emotions. The base colors vary, though. Blue is one of the more common ones. Does the base color mean anything?
Huh?
Yeah, what I said.
Well...
Some believe so. There's a prevalent superstition among some of my people that certain skills and personality traits can be attributed to our resting hue. Yeah, kind of like people thinking like extroverts are natural born leaders or something like that. It's not really true, but tends to be what people believe. Those with red hues are more aggressive. Green makes for better leaders. Yellow are lighthearted. That sort of thing. Missed opportunity. If they said that was blue, I could have made a Turtles joke. You know what I mean? I don't think trying to find out what blue means is what my character would do here. And is it true?
Hmm?
What do you believe? Is it true? I believe if you've been told your entire life that you are an angry person, then you're probably going to be angrier. Yeah, sounds right. There are some who benefit from such beliefs. Elders who guide the young based on their hue. Matchmakers who are paid to gouge romantic compatibilities. Yeah, so anyone know their sign? We totally don't do that, right? What's your sign? I suppose some people just yearn to be told that they're who they are by someone else. Yeah, I was actually kind of like that in the beginning. I've changed since then, and I've determined that only I can determine who I am. But yeah, I used to believe that sort of stuff. Change subject. Let's get back to work.
I'll be off then.
We should go.
I'll be here if you
Okay.
need me.
Okay, I'll see you later then.
You are rather expressive compared to the other Outlanders I've met, Kaiden.
You've dealt with my people before?
The Hunters sometimes did business with the Nightwalkers. I've never spent much time with them myself, but even from afar, you get the impression that they're a stoic group.
To put it mildly.
What was that?
Nothing. My, what interesting topsider architecture. I'll just go take a look at that.
What in the world?
Oh, Victoria.